Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody. We will have 5 minutes Ram Nam. We are now 33rd chapter of In Quest of God. Title is Bombay. As we go through the chapter, the first thing Papa tries to touch and kindle in us is that for reasons unknown, we may get a special treatment. At that time, we get elated mentally. But do we attribute it to him? No? It is a test. Normally, suppose our sense of individuality is so strong, the ego will feel, oh, because of something that is special in me, I am getting this treatment. Actually, it is not so. It is to free us all from all such inhibitions. God is making us to go through this test. Normally, whenever we are passing through adverse circumstances, we say it is a test. But here it is not an adverse circumstance. Everybody has asked to get down, and when the turn came for Papa, that it's not for you, it's not meant for you. You sit. A special treatment. Papa immediately attributes it to the protector. No, you are the protector. At that particular time, the body of Papa was in such a state that it needs some sort of facility or convenience for traveling through the tram. So there also, we take the message that whenever we get such special treatment, immediately we should remember it is thy glory. That is one point. Another one is, when we live on basic necessities, test may again come whether we are parting with that, even the basic necessities. And when somebody wants that, when we are parting with it, has it come out spontaneously or has it come out because of some churning or thought process? We should be very, very careful. This particular chapter makes us to look at ourselves. There have been many such instances in our life. Whenever we get a preferred treatment, we will remember that person or something. With a heart full of gratitude, all those things are there. But do we bring in the dimension of the indwelling reality? So here again, when we have passed the test, again we are put on test. How do we part with whatever we have? Especially when we have not been having anything, food for example. Somebody gives him a chit. After some time, somebody comes and says, I have lost my chit, I have not been having food for 2-3 days. Instantaneously, spontaneously he passes on the chit and then walks away. So we feel that this Bombay chapter makes us to become aware that we are always put on test. It may be a denial, it may be a preferred treatment, it can come in different forms. But everywhere if we see it as a test given to us by him, then but here in Papa's case we find even that thought has not come, because he attributes everything to God. Then from there, another point, transitoriness of the life. There should be some occasion for us to think about it. For example, the death of a closest friend, or somebody says, I cannot bear this loss. Genuine feeling. But at that time, if we are convinced about the transitoriness of the ephemerality of this life, we should console them by bringing their mind to the reality that the world, what we live in, is always transitory. If we have to pass on such, we have to keep on thinking, So through this explanation, Papa is touching and kindling. Hey, look here. You may be in the midst of so many things, but everything is transitory. Everything keeps on changing. Nothing is stable here. Nothing is constant there. Have you applied your mind on this? As if he is asking. So this Bombay chapter again makes us to think about all those things. Transitoriness. Another point he brings out is renunciation is not, denying our relationship with everybody. It is an expansion of our relationship. Papa's renunciation of sannyas is totally different from the traditional meaning of sannyas. Here it is an expansion. When the expansion takes place, whether they are from the old family, old connection or not, it does not matter at all. They are as free with them as we were, but the only thing is not attached. So gently he is making us to think about it. God is there everywhere. Then where is the necessity for us to keep one segment away from us? Because God is in everybody, we are trying to realize that. The only thing is, just like we should not get attached to anything else, because that will prevent us this expansion, here also we move with everybody in a detached way. So he himself went to his brother's house, but how detached he was. At the same time, he did not avoid. So he gently says, sannyas means it is not renunciation, but it is expansion of love circle. And another important point, he doesn't feel like carrying anything. Whenever we are on a tour, somebody will give us lovingly, carry this. You can accept it that God has given it to you for passing it on to somebody. Even then the ownership will not be there. And the craving to enjoy, that also will not be there. So whenever we accept anything, if we mentally think God has arranged for such a thing to be given to me, it is to be passed on to somebody. That in the next chapter it is clear. Everywhere this is repeated again and again and again. As we move toward the end of the book, probably the repetition is more. That everything is arranged by him, everything is organized by him, everything is given by him, everything is taken by him. Whatever happens is only happening by his will. That means he started with the inquest of God, But we can see the fruition now. We should be thinking deeply about it. We are all in quest of God, knowingly or unknowingly. Here in Papa's case, he was very knowingly he was doing it. What does it mean? We all want peace, We all want peace in our life, and peace is God. So we are in quest of God. And when we are in quest of God, we define it as peace, a sense of fullness, sense of contentment. We can give any definition. So when we are moving toward that, what are the things that are necessary that will take away this peace from us? So the possessiveness, everything, one by one, we add this. Then we come to know, it is not that God is an entity or a place or a state. No. What is attempted is to realize the peace within us. That is why at the end, 37th chapter, we will find serene, calm. No? We will come to that. So his journey was towards this peace, contentment, calmness, quietude, equanimity, whatever you can. We also get more and more clarity on the word God. So whether we are leading a householder's life or a professional life or a social life or a personal life or a spiritual life, ultimately all of us want this fullness. Purnamada, Purnamidam, Purnad, Purnamaduchyade. That fullness. Peace, peace, peace. Peace eternal. Not the peace for which we crave for. Peace eternal, that which stays with us. In fact, right from the moment we are born, right from the moment we started feeling the sense of individuality, our quest is for peace only. Everybody will say peace of mind. When you go for any relaxation, it is for peace of mind. So these are all the points, that Papa makes us to ponder over deeply through this chapter. Then we move to the 34th chapter, Panchavati and Tapovan. Our attempt is to pray to Papa, who is seated within us in the form of remembrance, to make us unearth the tools necessary for us to lead a peaceful life. This exercise of in-depth study is only for that. What is written in the text we can go through 100 times. But the essence of it should enable me to lead a peaceful life. This should be very clear. Every time we are reminded by Papa this. You are all in quest of God. So in the last chapter we found even a small luggage, or what you call, somebody gives you something. It is very difficult for people like us to accept it like that. Even a small packet is a pretty heavy burden in the sense. Because at the time of taking sannyas, of the 3 vows, you will remember the last one. Henceforth, the body be maintained fed upon the food procured by bhiksha or on what was offered as alms. That means no carrying over. What will I do for tomorrow? No, that is not there. If I do that, my trust in God doesn't become full. So that is why even a small package is given to him it's a burden for him. But that is offset by thinking that it is to be passed on, which he did it later. Message for us is that, whenever we take a vow, when we take a resolve, even the minutest thing we should be able to avoid. It's all right, what can be carried in my handbag, I can carry. No, it's not like that. You can carry it for passing it on to somebody. If you mean it is for you, that means there is a lack of faith. So that means whenever we take a resolve, we must be 100% vigilant, not to shirk from it. And every time we are put on test again, this particular chapter again says, somebody comes and offers. He doesn't go for any. He has got this packet with him, but he has not touched. He has not had his food. But even then, no cause of anxiety. Okay, another important point from this chapter. People may, out of their love and respect or gratitude, may find something special in us. And they, because of their close association with the worldly achievement, they may ask us some tips for their material advancement. So in this case, as everything is attributed to him, Papa did not at all own that. However enticing the suggestion may be. Okay, what is the lesson for us? This had happened in his case. We should be very, very vigilant. We should know that if somebody comes and says something, that you can do this, you can do that, either they may be telling out of their love for us, or they want us to do something, that's all. You take it like that, doesn't matter. No? They want us to do something like that, so they may praise us, they may say, you have got this, you have got that. But let us not be carried away. At the same time, we don't belittle them, we don't wound them. We tell them lovingly, we decline it lovingly, at the same time we don't pass any adverse comments. That is a very important thing. There he only said it was a test. No adverse comments. Similarly, when God makes us to touch and kindle the faith in somebody, we should be conscious about it. That it is because of the faith in them that has given them the relief. And you are only instrumental. You should thank God you are instrumental in touching and kindling. Sometimes, our prayer or our wish or our desire to help may become a reality. Sometimes it may not. If our faith is depending upon the positive results of our prayer, then our prayer is not 100% pure. Initially, we may expect positive results for our prayer, natural. But later on, we should know we have only the right to pray. So every time, somehow, we should bring in the relevance of God in our life. Normally in the activities, we deal everything at the individual level. So this particular chapter reminds us of that. We are now moving to the 35th chapter, Trimbakeshwar. Here also, the points he wants us to get stamped is, God is the great provider. He who trusts him is never lost. As we move to the 37th chapter, he is now concretizing this. There are not many other points that is there, only to keep on hammering this. And probably to know, to prove to ourselves that his protection is there for us. At times we may be prompted to take adventurous risks. Not that we should take adventurous risks. When the prompting comes, adventurous means most risky. So probably as the message we find, we don't know whether we are right or wrong. To know whether our reliance on him is 100% true, God may give us some prompting to take this highest risk. And as he was almost closing the journey, probably he wanted to make sure. That is why he was climbing upon the hill, and then he was a point where he was standing. Suppose he loses his grip, he will fall down. His end is sure. And he is then watching. A strange fascination seemed to have seized him. He crept slowly upon the slope. His hold was thin, dried up grass grew on the hill. Both his hands were engaged in this task. He was now on the slope. It was a condition in which every moment had to be counted. But he was careless and fearless. Suddenly the dried grass in his left hand gave way. His left foot slipped. Ramdas was even now calm and unperturbed, his lips uttering Ram's name aloud. It was rather a very severe test on Ram's powers of protection. Why did he do that? And what are we to do for that? Yes, if you are prompted from within to check up whether your faith is 100% true or honest, then you have to take that adventurous initiatives. And another most important point is about the silk, he makes a mention. So here the message is, when we want to lead a life where we don't directly or indirectly do any harm to any living creature, we should be very, very alert. Unknowingly we may be encouraging a trade which is harmful, which is causing the death of so many beings. It is a test. Because in the play there are daivic and asuric forces. So producing silk, you all might be knowing, how it is produced. Mulberry plants are grown, and then the silkworm is made to fatten it, and then the living worm is put in a boiling water, and what oozes out of his body is taken as the silk. So here Papa brings it out. Sinful luxury. So every time when we use anything, we should be alert. Directly we don't do anything, accepted. But indirectly we are doing it. We are encouraging it that. We are not preaching anybody else not to do it or to it. But when somebody asks, we will tell them no. But what we have been told is that we should ensure that least injury is given. I don't think that it's possible for anybody to say under zero injury to others. Unknowingly we may be causing. Knowingly we will avoid as much as possible. So that is a very strong point that he gives out from this chapter. Hari Om.